Tempodrome, and what's not to like about the German Masters? We're in a historic city at a forbidding venue. There's a large crowd. The scene is set for some fascinating snooker. Anthony Hamilton, the defending champion, already out. Judd Trump would love to add this to his trophy collection.
All of us.
He's playing someone he knows very well from their junior days, never mind all the pro meetings they've had.
Frame.
Ben Woollaston.
Judd Trump to break.
So the Tempodrome falls silent. Judd Trump to get us underway. Best of 9 to reach the last 16. Very busy arena, of course. There's 5 tables and some big hitters playing this evening. Former winner Martin Gould, the first winner of this title. Mark Williams as well. Mark Allen, the Masters champion. Ricky Walden as well. Fourteen tournaments, ranking tournaments that is, Ben Woollaston's played in this season. He's got through the first round of every one of them. He's the only player on the circuit who can boast that record, but I spoke to him beforehand and he said that's all very well being consistent, but he wants to have a deep run in a couple, not just get through a couple of rounds here and there. He travelled over with Mark Selby, his fellow Leicester man, yesterday. Of course, he came through that system at Willie Thorne's, and Willie's brother Malcolm running all those junior tournaments. Judd Trump won so many of them when he was a lad. That's a cracking red from Trump.
It certainly was, Dave. And he was in a slightly awkward angle, that. He was cue ball near the right corner. Yeah, I mean, Judd has had a couple of quite disappointing results recently, but you always get a chance to put things right. Here's that red again. It was really awkward cueing from in there, and he missed the bunch as well. I think with snooker now, even if you do have a couple of reversals and matches that hurt, you're quickly back on the horse, so to speak, with another chance. And of course, he did all the hard work by qualifying for this just prior to Christmas, when a lot of the players probably didn't really want to be involved in 2 days of qualifying on the eve of Christmas almost, and well, he got through them, so he's here. And on that basis, he can be a champion.
Only just got through though. Actually, he was 4-2 down in the second of the 2 matches to Wan Sijun of China, but he made 2 centuries in the 3 frames he won from 4-2 down to book his place. So it turned out to be a happy Christmas after all.
Yes, I think Wan Sijun, who's just a Chinese teenager, he's young, plays very good actually, because he beat Alan McManus over the weekend in the qualifiers for China, the Beijing China Open. So he's one to watch for the future, but for today, this is a good start from Judd.
Yeah, of course, he was beaten in that China Open qualifying by Jack Jones. But I don't think Trump, he doesn't strike me as someone who really dwells on matches. He just gets on with the next event. Of course, he'd also had the disappointment of losing from 5-2 up to Karen Wilson, semi-finals of the Masters, just a week or so before that.
What's that? What's that?
The screen changes. I can see the screen.
Right.
It seems that
I see what
the screen, the big screen here in the Tempodrome, is slightly in his eye line on his shot.
Yeah, there's 5 matches on the big screen, the scores, and it flicks over.
Thank you.
And it was in his eye line. Marcel Eckhart is going to speak to the tour director, I think.
Yeah, but fair enough. No, absolutely.
Marcel's going to have a word with Micah Kessler, who's marking, and she's going to have a word with Paul Collier.
It's very difficult, you know. I mean, players are expected to maintain their concentration. I think it can be quite as difficult on the other tables as well, with it all going on, and certainly the lighting on the other table is not so good. But that's not the issue here. It's that I think the screen, it might be that it's showing Judd's match, and they obviously maybe going on to a different angle or something, and it's catching his eye. There was no such issues this afternoon, but every player's a little different. And Judd is not somebody that I would say does get easily distracted, to be honest with you. When he's out there, he's usually plays under most conditions.
Well, as you can see, there's no one at that table. Micah Kessler, the marker's just sort of literally sprinted out of the arena to the tournament office, and they're going to try and get this sorted out. I mean, it is a venue where you do need your concentration because it's open plan, all the tables in operation, as you can see. But that screen was just catching Trump out.
It's a very unique setting here, isn't it? 5 tables in the one arena. And, of course, it ends up at the weekend with just the one table and an absolutely wonderful atmosphere here in the Tempodrome. Something very special. So it kind of goes from one extreme to the other, where all the attention is on the 2 finalists or the semi-finals onwards, but there's a lot going on here.
Well, there's Martin Clark, who's tournament director this evening. Jan Verhaas is there as well. Marcel getting involved.
They've got the heavyweights out, haven't they?
They have.
The tournament officials of the highest calibre there.
It's like a kind of reservoir dogs of tournament officials, that is. They're all out there. So have they sorted it out, though? That's the question.
Yeah, of course, watchers of snooker, casual watchers, might not remember Martin Clark. They might have thought, what happened to him? He was a leading player back in the day, but he's been involved working for World Snooker for a long time now and does an excellent job.
Yeah, and while we've got just a minute, we must send our best wishes to Brandon Parker, who has promoted this tournament from day one and really did a lot of work for snooker in Germany with the Paulander Classic as well. And Brandon's not well at the moment, so he's not here, but we wish him all the best.
Yeah, we're spoilt for choice tonight because we've got so many leading players. We have Martin Gould in action. Of course, he won this event 2 years ago. Seems to love playing here in Berlin. And he's on one of the outside tables. There is Ben Woollaston. Martin Clark's over on, beg your pardon, Martin Gould is over on the far side. There he is. There's Martin Gould. Loves playing here in Berlin. Great memories of 2 years ago. And last year he played well also. So it's just a venue that, if I asked him, I reckon he would say this would be his favourite.
I'm sure. If you're wondering what's happening, the answer's nothing at the moment on the main table. Basically, Judd Trump felt that the screen was sort of flicking over in his eye line, and I assume that they're sorting that out because we're not playing. So we're just waiting for that to be resolved before we can get on with this match, which we're all looking forward to.
It's always a bit strange at snooker because you're easily distracted out there. Something can put you off, but most of the snooker clubs I've ever played in, like, it's about chaos in there, all kinds of things going on. People shouting, money matches, television's on, horse racing on the TV, and all these things go on, and you seem to play through it, but it's a little different at the venue.
It's a bit different when it's 80 grand the winner, which is what it is this week.
And
Ben also just waiting there.
Sorry, Dave, we're going on to the snooker shootout, which is, of course, next week, and I don't think you're going to get too much silence at that, and there's going to be screens going, there's going to be people chanting, so, again, we go to a different dimension when that's on.
Yeah, that's the screen. I thought it was actually the scoreboard that was putting him off, but it wasn't. It's actually the feed of the match, and that's what he was just felt was in his eye line. We can see there is...
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's, obviously the director doing his job and showing us all the pictures that he can, and it's in the eye line. I think it's nice to have the ability to see what's going on the TV, and in more recent years, we've seen that at snooker events where you can follow it on the screen as well as watching the match live. Well,
there are other monitors, so if it comes to it, they're just going to have to turn that screen off. There are other monitors that the spectators here can watch the match on, but at the end of the day, we're going to have to start playing at some point. So hopefully this is going to be sorted out soon.
You can just see Mark Williams in shot there, a previous winner. He's on the near table on the right as you look. He's playing Fergal O'Brien.
Yeah, Mark Williams won this title 2011, first staging at the Tempodrome. There we are.
I think with Mark, who's sitting in his chair there and Fergal's at the table, I think when he won it, he was almost overcome, and it would take a lot to do that with Mark Williams. He's a pretty no-nonsense character, but I know that he found the ovation very much to his liking.
Well, we're still waiting. I can see a couple more people have arrived to sort of point up at the screen.
Might have heard some clapping there. Matt Selt has already made a century tonight against Mark Allen, who incidentally, Mark Allen, I was looking at the rankings, of course, he's actually on the cusp for the World Championships. Lots of time between now and then, but he's 16. And you think, well, how can that be? Well, first of all, the Masters doesn't count because he's not on a ranking event. And he loses points, does Mark Allen, because the Players' Championship, which he won a couple of seasons ago, come off his ranking, a bit like we saw with Neil Robertson. But I think if I could bet on it, I think Mark Allen will probably be playing at the Crucible as a seeded player, not as a qualifier.
Well, now they've got the scores on that monitor, so it looks like we're going to start again. This is the longest time ever between shots for Trump. Thankfully, they stopped the clock. It doesn't count for his average shot time, so that's good news.
Yes, it would put him quite a bit down on the whole season, wouldn't it, that break? About 5 minutes.
6.5 minutes, I'm told it was.
Yes, no one's ever taken that long on a shot, even the really slow players.
Well, hopefully there'll be no more distractions as Trump continues here in frame one.
Yeah.
The split didn't
36.
quite work out to plan. He lost the cue ball a touch. Up the table. I didn't mean he lost it, obviously. It's on the table still, but he's got a difficult red now. Probably more difficult than he would have expected anyhow.
Top.
That's a very good pot. And finishing top side of the blue, so very nicely done. Didn't go in cleanly, but it went in. I think it's always difficult for a player who's just lost a couple of matches. It's quite difficult. It knocks anyone's confidence. Snooker's all about confidence. It's hard to get and easy to lose. And he did lose in the China Open, the qualifiers, and that's a big tournament this year. More money than
42
has ever been seen before in such an event, and didn't make it through the qualifiers. So he comes here on the back of that,
43.
as well as disappointments of losing to Kyron Wilson in the Masters.
Yeah, I guess all you can say, though, is that at least, you know, he's not sat at home brooding about it. He's got on the plane, he's got another tournament to look forward to. And he is this season's leading
48
century break maker. He's made 53, so he's had a very consistent season in terms of scoring. Big break on here in the first frame tonight.
It's interesting on the head-to-heads, isn't it, that Trump leads 6-0, given that it's pretty obvious that Ben Woollaston is a fairly formidable opponent, but he's not had any success against Trump. Trump might have just gone a touch too far there.
56.
No, he finished in a slightly awkward spot there, but he's okay. He can just get to this. And it was always going to drop it at that
57.
speed. So he's almost on the brink now. The frame is just about won. And it will be with the next red and any colour. Certainly not going to play up on the yellow, so whatever
65.
else is fine. And it's a very encouraging start. It's his first scoring visit. This was, he could just get to it, and it only just trickled in off the jaw. So Judd Trump doing what he does best, getting in, winning frames in a single visit.
71.
Yes, and in terms of the head-to-head with
72.
Woollaston, it's not only 6-0. Within that, there's 2 5-0s and a 5-1. So some big victories he's had. I'm sure a lot of it is sort of hangover from their junior days when Trump really was rampant, winning all those
79.
junior tournaments.
80.
I think Ben would have been aware that Judd Trump was a freakishly good player as a junior, wasn't he? He was at the age of 8, 9, really, really talented snooker player. So I suppose it will stick in his memory, even all these years down the line.
88.
question is, does he add to that tally of centuries for the season? I think after that shot, I'm saying yes.
95.
There's a really nice little nudge on that red. Beautifully played.
96.
Question of how many now?
Well, it's going to be career century number 513.
Well, it didn't put him off, that interruption, due to the distraction of the
101.
big screen. He, almost as you were with what he was playing like beforehand. Another fine shot. This is an outstanding start to the match.
Yeah, just think, as I say, you nearly didn't qualify. 4-2 down in the final round of qualifying just before Christmas. In fact, he made 2 centuries to make it to Berlin. And he's made one here, first frame of the evening.
109.
So the yellow stays out, but what a great start for Judd Trump. OK, he was put off a little bit with all the business with the screen, but he composed himself. He's made a break of 109, and he's off and running here at the Tempodrome this evening. He leads Ben Woollaston by 1 frame to 0. Woollaston 1-0, and you can watch the Mark Allen match. Mark Allen, of course, the Masters champion. He's up against Matt Selt this evening. That's on the Eurosport Player live for you this evening.
The second frame, Ben Woollaston to break.
Well, Ben Woollaston didn't get much of a look in that opening frame. He also, of course, had to win 2 matches to qualify. Beat Alex Borg 5-4, then Chris Totten, the young Scot, 5-2. Another cracking pot from Trump, who looks super confident so far this evening.
Played it really well, and he played it with a touch of right-hand side to avoid the bunch. And now he's playing on the loose red by the black. If he can get that onto that red perfectly, he could be away here. He'll obviously have to go into the pack quite soon, but
4.
Cleared the decks for the black to both corners. He looks very good. It'll be dead straight, unfortunately, so he's got to drop this in. And it was just played fairly slowly. That he's a reasonably generous pocket on this opening day, that left corner. Maybe the new cloths played a part in that. Well, it's always a missable shot when you're playing that cut shot, that pace, cutting the black back to the corner.
5.
It's the first ball he's missed tonight.
It's one of these, there's already a bit of pressure on this, with the red spread as they are, Trump having made a century. But it's gone in.
1.
Ben Woollaston, he played in the Championship League last week, and in the group he played in the first group, he made 5 centuries. They're only short matches, so he played well against top players, including Trump. And he knew this had to go in,
6.
this first red, where the balls were lying.
And it looks like he's got to play the cannon on the second red here, pulling the other red to the middle.
7.
What if he'd have a look at the black? A fairly narrow angle, but he's had no trouble getting onto his next red. I don't know if he played on it. I think he played on the blue. I think it's the right shot if he, as long as he can just drop it in. That's all he'd want to be doing on a shot like that. Had some more applause there. It's 2 lightning quick frames on the match on the Eurosport Player, because Mark Allen has won frame 2 against Matt Selt. And both those frames, I think, won in one scoring visit to each player. Well, the black must go to the left corner. It's a fine shot.
15.
That's a much better shot than it looked. Beautifully played.
Trump likes to get the balls open early. We saw him do that off the black, but of course he missed it.
22.
And the question is now, can Woollaston benefit from that, the fact that Trump has opened the game up?
23.
He's going to have to, I think, if he's going to come through this evening, because we've already seen the way Trump has started. He looks confident.
$30. $31.
Of course, uniquely, Ben Woollaston is married to a referee, Tatiana. They met at a tournament. Needless to say, she's not allowed to referee him. Or indeed any little section of the draw he's in.
$36.
Nice recovery. Just leaning across on that, he wouldn't have been
37.
wanting anything more difficult than where he is, because he really is so much in the balls here that you feel that you should be on the next ball perfectly all the time. And he ultimately has very good cue ball control. A lot of the Leicester players, for whatever reason, are certainly blessed with good positional skills. That's Tom Ford, who I think is an underrated player,
44.
as is Ben. Having said that, on this occasion, he was drifted into a slightly awkward position. Cue ball seemed to continue there at pace, and while he can get to this, his cueing is not easy. I don't know whether he played on that red at all, but by use of the spider, I don't know if he can get enough elevation with that. I think I'll be looking at getting the swan neck out or the extended spider.
Of course.
He's gone for something else on the table. Yep, swan neck it is. Making a rare appearance. But you get the extra elevation, and I think that's what you need for this shot. It's not a difficult pot, but it's made more difficult by where the cue ball is in the pink. Obviously, he's got to avoid the foul as well. No touching of the pink with his cue. It's very well done, actually.
Thanks. $45.
Once again, he's knocking those shots on the black in off the bottom jaw. That is not the right place to hit. That could have easily
52.
stayed out on a different day, on a different table. That left corner is playing easy. Pockets should all be exactly the same, but you do occasionally get one that will just go in off the jaw a bit more than the others.
53.
Very important that he converts this chance.
Yes, Ben Woollaston, he's been in a ranking final, Welsh Open, 3 years ago, but has just slipped back a little bit since then. 33 in the world. As he said himself, he's looking to have deep runs in tournaments, not just turn up and win a match and then on his way home again. And these are the sort of matches that make a difference against a top player like the world number 3, Judd Trump. Who at the
56.
moment is in that seat wondering if this frame has gone. Started
57.
well, made a century and was in early in this frame, but then this happened. Going into the reds, misses the black. Sort of the cardinal sin in that situation, really, to miss the pot. And of course, having opened the reds, he gave the chance to Woollaston to make this break. So he needs one more red here, as you can see,
64.
and it should be one each.
65.
Yeah, snooker's a strange old game. You sit in your chair and you have to be very patient, but you have to keep your concentration. Can't get too relaxed when your opponent is scoring and potting all the balls, because you could at any point get a chance, and certainly Ben was ready for it when it came.
72. 73. 79. 80. 87.
Well, we could be in for a treat here if these first two frames are anything
88.
to go by.
Yeah, it's a chilly
94.
night in Berlin, as it tends to be at this time of year. Outside, that is, but things
96.
definitely warming up inside the Tempodrome. Just come a little far here, needs the rest for this green if he is to make the century, needs the brown as well.
Well, that was another very good
99.
shot. He, as you say, had got out of position, which would have been a pity if he hadn't have gone on to make the century. But this is a tremendous start to the match.
103.
It's a real winter warmer already after just 2 frames, and he's done so well here to just show Judd Trump I can knock the centuries in as well. And one mistake is all it took from Trump for Woollaston to pounce.
An amazingly good shot that was, with lots of left-hand side.
It was very nicely done, that was. Judd Trump made a break of 109 to win the first frame, missed the black going into the reds in that second frame, and Ben Woollaston really punished him thoroughly. A break of 114 to level up at 1 frame all. 114 from Ben Woollaston, an explosive start to the evening here at the Tempodrome in Berlin, day 1 of the German Masters. As you can see, 5 tables in action. Mark Allen against Matt Selt is on the Eurosport player. That match 1 apiece, as indeed, of course, is this one.
Judd. The third frame. Judd Trump to break.
So Judd Trump knows that just one mistake cost him that second frame as he gets the third underway. Last time these two met, it was a whitewash, 5-0 in Shanghai earlier this season. That, of course, was to Trump. He's won all 6 of their meetings.
desperately needed some cover there. I don't know if he's left a path through to that red or not. It must be fairly close. Judd might be able to play it with a trace of right-hand side to make the slight adjustment to get the cue ball rounded onto the potting angle. Yeah, it's very close. I don't think plain ball he can pot that. Pretty sure he can't, in fact. Marcel Eckhart, the referee for this match, German referee here in Berlin. Very proud to be officiating on this game. One of those situations where if he had gone in off, it wouldn't have been end of the world, I don't think, but it's better than where he's finished.
Well, that little flick. Looks like Woollaston can see the red.
One.
Yes, play it as a little stun run through. And I've seen how potent he is scoring-wise. And his first opportunity again.
Eight.
Well, it's certainly not been slow. You'd expect it to be under 20, I guess, with 2 centuries. In terms of the average shot times.
Yeah, I think I noticed early on, actually, in the game with Anthony Hamilton, of course, he was defending his title, and he struggled today, so that's the first point, but he was up to 34 seconds a shot at one point, and that's very slow. Yeah, that is slower than he would usually be, and I think sometimes it helps if you're in amongst them, because most players are fairly brisk. Not all, but most of them, when they are in amongst them with a chance to score heavily.
Yeah, and you watch players practicing, and the practice tables are right behind our commentary boxes, and they're all pretty quick in practice.
15.
But obviously, once the pressure comes to bear and you're out there in the match situation, it's a different story, for some players anyway.
16.
Yeah, one or two of them put the brakes on a bit, don't they, in the matches? Not always deliberately, just because they just want to make sure they don't go into any shot without their full thought process. When the pressure's on, that's what they do. They usually revert to type and
21.
break every shot down. That's what can happen when under pressure. This is a big tournament. Arguably, well, certainly are bigger tournaments than this, but this carries a big prize, and also it is a full-blown ranking event. It's the pride of Germany as far as the ranking events go.
Yeah, we've already seen with recent winners, it's a tournament that carries a lot of happy memories if you do win it. It's Martin Gould, Anthony Hamilton, I'll tell you. Well, meanwhile, he just lost his way a little bit here. He was sort of shaking his head before that red.
Didn't get into the cue ball at all there. He played obviously screwed back beyond the blue spot. It may have been a sort of clunky contact. Didn't sound great. Some applause once again. Matt Selt has led 2-1 now, just won that third frame. He was behind in that frame and he cleared to the black. So that's the match on the Eurosport Players. Like this one, an extremely entertaining game so far.
Well, this is a good recovery pot. There was pressure on that. He had to get it.
$28.
He's only missed one pot all evening, and that was the black at the end of that break, which didn't matter, that 114. So he's at 98% for his pot success tonight, Woollaston, so far.
$33.
Trump not too shabby either.
$34.
Well, didn't want to be playing Brown in and out of bulk. But I think he's one of these players, like I say, he trusts his ability to stop the cue where he needs to. Had to travel quite a way there, but he showed a good touch again.
38.
I think he's a somewhat underrated player. I know he's got a bad record against Judd Trump, but he's got a decent record against other players on the tour.
39.
Yeah, I think sometimes it comes down just to being on the right or the wrong side of a result. For example, World Championship last season,
46.
final qualifying round, lost 10-9 to Zhu Yu Long, so could have been at the Crucible, but had to sit it out.
47.
Obviously, that had an impact on his ranking as well.
$54. Sure. That's fine.
I think the red at the bottom of the bunch will certainly go to the
55.
right corner, and this is pretty formidable stuff. Sat out that century, which was interrupted by a long break because Judd wasn't happy about one of the screens, so he sat out even longer than usual. But since then, on both occasions, he's had a chance. Well, he's taken
62.
them. And here, red colour, high value. And he's won another frame.
63.
Yeah, it's true that, you know, all the players on the tour can play really well, but it's also true that very often against the top players like Judd Trump, they don't. But so far tonight, Woollaston is. He needs this black. Trump needs a snooker.
Yeah, and also, you look at the possibility of getting a century here, but he's played a good shot from this black into the bunch to make that happen. I don't know of anything pots now. Can't think that anything is available to him. And it's one snooker, so he can't afford to take any kind of a liberty. Just have to make sure he doesn't leave Trump a chance.
So a very solid
Ben
70
Woollaston,
from Ben Woollaston. But as Neil says, it's only one snooker needed.
Yeah, that's the thing about the temper drum there. He didn't get any applause for that because it's not the sport for choice. Sometimes, you know, something that's not a century on the main table, something else going on, that the audience don't quite react in the way, but that was a very good break.
Yeah, and of course, around the perimeter of the arena, there are tables immediately in front of the audience, so you're likely to be watching the table. You can see there, likely to be watching the tables in front of you, Fergal O'Brien and Mark Williams in front of that section. More maybe than the one in the middle, depending on where you sat. There is the view from the back of the Tempodrome. Unique layout. Right, it's all going so well for Trump until he missed that black early in frame 2. And now it looks like he's 2-1 down. It's a good pot from Woollaston, and that should be that for this frame. He's doing exactly what you got to do with the top players. Take the game to them.
Won the third frame, Ben
Judd
Woollaston.
Trump stays in his seat. So Ben Woollaston has put together 2 excellent frames, breaks of 114 and a good 70 there as well. And he is in front, the Leicester man leading here in Berlin by 2 frames to 1. 3 frames in just over 35 minutes actual playing time. It's not including the delay when they're sorting the screen out in the first frame. Trump won that first frame. Woollaston's won the next 2. This then the last before the mid-session. And Woollaston is playing good stuff here. He's only missed 1 pot, and as I say, that was the black at the end of frame 2 when he was already made the century. Already, he's had a bit of fortune there.
Yeah.
Fergal O'Brien has gone 2-0 up against Mark Williams, who of course won this season's Northern Ireland Open. See, Ricky Walden's gone 2-1 up against Jack Lazowski, one of the other outside tables. He told me an incredible story, Ricky, actually. We're talking about Trump and Woollaston growing up together on the junior scene. He said, Ricky, when he was at school, one of the classes teacher asked the class, what do you want to be when you're older? And he said, professional snooker player. And the teacher told him to leave the room. Said, stop being so silly, go and stand in the corridor. Well, Ricky Walden, 3 times a ranking event winner, World Championship semi-finalist, here tonight playing in this great arena. I think he had the last laugh.
That was a very good effort, because he certainly played to flick the red away from that's just next to the black, but he didn't pot this cleanly, and I wonder if that played any part in that shot not going quite right. He's on the pink, though. Oh, that's terrific. You're lucky if he's not on one. I think he's got one to the middle if he can cue it. No, he can't get to it.
7.
He's very good shot finder. You know, he's the kind of player that can pot any ball, but this is going to be a little plant, and the red's not right over the pocket that he's aiming for. Just made it.
8.
That's a good recovery.
Ten.
As I said, he's a tremendous potter of a ball, and he's never quite out of position in the field. There's always some way he can keep a break going. And twice already in this short break, he's had difficult shots to that right corner bag.
15. $18. 19.
Well, this is getting more difficult by the shot, this break, but I think he spotted one that popped through the middle.
$25.
These two have really played well. This has been an outstanding 4 frames. Thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, Judd Trump always wants to play well, but of course this evening he's seen he's got to play well, because Woollaston is.
$31.
So many contrasts in this game between a very, attacking match like this, quick fire. And other matches just don't go that way, You just get the balls run awkwardly. We see that sometimes. It's not always the slow players. Balls just run awkwardly and everything's a bit of
36.
Can be a bit of a slog, but not tonight. What we've seen of this has been not so much all-out attack, but very good, powerful scoring from both of these players. And in some ways, this is the most difficult break of them all that Judd's making. And again, he's not very well on his colour. Up and down from blue, you'd think, to land on a red. He'll have to play this with some pace. That's outstanding.
42.
I know he's not on the red perfectly, but he's on one. In fact, he's got a choice.
Well, he's really had to work, hasn't he, with the black and the pink out of commission here. Really having to work that cue ball.
$43.
Now, this time the cue ball's not necessarily under very good control here. Little gentle cannon. That's worked out very nicely. Well, I think after that last shot, you get the feeling he could
48.
very comfortably go on and win the frame at this one visit. And that's been the story of the match, Dave. It's been one visit snooker in all of the 3 previous frames.
Yeah, and this has been a particularly good break, as you say there, 3 in the black in that last shot. Balls you feel
49.
at his mercy, really, although a little short there, maybe. This was the shot to get into them.
Yes, and as you say, he didn't have a very good angle there, but he managed to just drag it in and save the cue ball from going around the table.
56.
Well, we've been going 43 minutes, and it looks like we're going to be all square
57.
at the interval. Just needs the blue, will be 62 in front. Ben Woollaston has played his part in a very eye-catching start to proceedings tonight. Trump would like another red, but first things first, pop the blue. So Woollaston needs a snooker. Otherwise, it's 2-2.
62. 63.
Well, what a standard. Look at the pot success. Trump 97%, Woollaston
68.
98. Trump looking to make his second century, the third of the evening. Oh, he's missed that one, but
Judd Trump.
what a great
68,
start to the
and
evening.
Right, it is 5-9.
High quality, free-flowing snooker from both players. Judd Trump opened up with a break of 109. Back came Woollaston with 114 and then a 70. Judd Trump put together a really well-worked 68 there to win the fourth frame, and after just 45 minutes of play, they're all square as they head off to the mid-session interval. Really great stuff between these two this evening. It's 2-2.
Cut it. Cut it and get back out there. OK, it's 2-all at the moment. Jimmy's just played the shot out of vision, which doesn't count. Neil Foulds heading back to the commentary box to join Dave Hendon. Unlucky, Jimmy.
So Judd Trump getting us underway again. Just 45 minutes it took to reach the interval. 2-2, real high quality. We've had 2 centuries and 2 other big breaks as well. Ben Woollaston just had a very brief chat with Mark Selby, his good friend from Leicester, on the practice table as he went back to backstage. I'm sure delighted with how things have gone so far, because he only missed 1 pot and it was inconsequential. The frame was well and truly over. But of course, the further you go into a match, the more the pressure comes on. And he's left Trump a chance at a long ball here. Which is duly knocked in.
1.
Could have done with just coming past the blue. Trump wouldn't miss many of those with his hand on the table. But it's got the rest out here for this green.
Four.
The thing is, as Neil said earlier, he's such a good potter that you always feel, even if he's slightly out of prime position, he's going to recover very quickly the position. And that's what he's done
5.
here. I can tell you why, while we were at the interval, Gary Wilson was on for a 147. He missed the last red on 112. Trying to go round the table for the black. He wasn't quite right on the red. So it would have been only the 3rd maximum at the Tempodrome. Trump made the first, actually, 3 years ago. We were recording, actually, so we can show you. This was Gary Wilson. As you can see, he's having to go around the table to stay on the black, and he's missed the red. So that was the end of the maximum bid. He actually made one in German Masters qualifying in 2013, and then he made another one last year in the World qualifying, but it would have been something special at the Tempodrome. But he's leading 3-0, so things are going well in general for him.
Yes, sure. $18.
Didn't seem to like the contact there. He's had the cue ball cleaned.
$90. $26. $27. 34.
Well, he's got the chance to go into the bunch here and really come in and out of them. He's certainly done that, but
35.
now he can get through to the blue. The red has just gone far enough, otherwise I think he'd have had a difficult shot. This was with a tremendous amount of topspin. And really, if this goes in, you feel that he could be away again. I think we all know that sometimes the interval can change the kind of match it is, but there's no suggestion of that here because Judd is in again and looking good. It's been a tremendous scoring fest,
41.
really, in the frames we've seen. And the balls have run kindly, that's the thing. Often it can be like that. You know, the high-value colours stay in play. And it's been a very entertaining game. Both players going at very high pot success rates.
48.
As you can
49.
see, barely anything missed in live play. I can only think of that black that Trump missed in frame 2. When going into the bunch, everything else has gone in.
Yeah, I mean, Woollaston's 98% for pot success and could be about to go 3-2 down. So it's pretty crazy, really, the standard here.
56.
There's not been a lot of safety play, but that's they're the stats just favouring Judd Trump.
$64. 65.
Neither player's missed a long ball yet. 4 out of 4 for Trump, 2 out of 2 for Woollaston. This frame's only been going 6 minutes,
72.
but already Judd Trump is at the point where Woollaston needs snookers. So, fantastic start to the second half of what's been a fantastic match. Woollaston's more than played his part, but as I say, he's about to go behind. He left a long red on. That was his only crime here in this frame.
$80. 81.
For once, not played so well. This was the opening red,
88.
which was very cleanly potted. Never looked like missing it. This is more difficult now. A little cut back. Controlling the cue ball is awkward as well. And he's still got to play another
89.
good shot to get the century, I think. Oh dear. Well, I'm not sure what's going to happen now. You have to play a fairly exotic double on this left red.
94.
You can't get to the other one, so it could be attentional pockets time here. See if he can knock it in somewhere. Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, not another century, but a dashing 94 from Judd Trump. This match is really rattling on at some pace, isn't it? And Judd Trump back in front here, leading Ben Woollaston at the Tempodrome in Berlin by 3 frames to 2. Trump leads 3-2. He's just had a break in 94, just fell short of making his second century. So what response does Woollaston have? Woollaston 98% on the pot success and trailing.
That was actually a good safety shot. A little bit of right-hand side swerving off the bunch. Again, it's one of those shots that could go unnoticed, but it was very well played. Well, we were right behind the shot. He didn't hit it perfectly. It wasn't easy. He was forced into that long red without any other shots available. Sometimes, those, as I say, those shots that Judd played had certainly got Ben in a lot of trouble. That's a good pot. Positionally, absolutely perfect as well.
Yeah, the tough red that Woollaston missed, it's the first ball he's missed of any consequence. This was the safety that Trump played. First ball Woollaston's missed of any consequence. It could cost him. It could be 4-2 down the way Trump's played.
Yes, and it was worth seeing again because ultimately it's led to this opportunity because he forced Ben into a mistake. Sometimes it's the creating of chances, subtle little shots that you play.
Yes, and this is why it's wrong to characterise Trump as someone who just knocks everything in and goes for everything. He's actually quite a thoughtful player, I think. He sees the whole table and has developed that all-round game more and more over the years. Yeah,
but his strength clearly is, you know, his weight of scoring is highlighted by what you said earlier, that he's made more centuries than anybody else this season, which, you know, in the age of players scoring in big numbers, he's still at the top.
Yeah, it's combining the two. As we've seen in this frame, it's laying the trap and then pouncing when you're left an opportunity.
13.
Very positive attacking player. There may have been times where he's maybe been too confident in matches where he's been in front, maybe took the odd liberty. That's cost him.
Chance to attack the bunch again here. I understand why he wouldn't have gone into them wholeheartedly, but now he's a very awkward little queuing shot, whichever ready that he can play.
21.
I guess he thought he would just play on a loose red here, but he's kind of clung to the bottom of the bunch. This is not easy. Right over the top of the red. Marcel Eckhardt is on top of it as well. Make sure no foul. We've already seen the way that he can, from the wrong side of the blue, come all around the table. But here, there aren't many reds on. There's the other 5% where you forget the obvious, forget the pot. Happens occasionally in getting good position. Certainly a very rare miss in the context of this match.
Yeah, attention more drawn to the positional side.
One.
Well, it's been pretty breathless stuff, hasn't it? And Ben Woollaston back in, I'm sure, watching on in his seat there earlier than he was expecting in this frame.
Yes, he's measuring up the bunch to play into them. I think it's a very difficult shot to land on a red where the balls are, actually. You always felt that might happen.
8.
It was coolly done, that. You know, that had a chance to go wrong because it was slightly awkward queuing.
I think it was a terrific shot, actually, because it's not that the red near the middle pocket was hanging over on the lip. It was really still had to be potted. Now the question is, does the pink go on his own spot? He would like it not to, I think, because it would free up the reds at the top of the bunch, which might not be available if this does spot.
Well, meanwhile, the round of applause is for Mark Williams, who just won the 4th frame against Fergal O'Brien. So it's 2-2 as they head to their interval.
Top. 15.
Well, I'm not sure that he'll take the opportunity to go into the bunch here. It looks to me as if there are reds out anyway. Yes, he certainly played on a loose one. I think that's the right shot. It was in his own hands there. He didn't need luck to finish on a red.
22.
An hour's playing time, that's all it's been for 5.5 frames of snooker.
Yes, longest frame, just 12 minutes, 16 seconds. That tells you the standard we've been seeing here.
$29.
Wow, that's an outrageous fluke.
30.
It's one of the few pots that he's missed, and he kind of knew from a long way out it was heading towards the right corner. About here, you think, well, that's going to hug the bottom cushion.
In some ways, that could be the biggest shot of the evening, because it could be the difference between Woollaston levelling or certainly going 4-2 down had the red stayed out.
32. $33.
Jack Lazowski's had a century, so he trails 3-2 to Ricky Walden. That's what they were applauding.
41.
Yes, and at the very same time, we saw Gary Wilson clear up to win the 4th frame, so he leads the win here 2 years ago. Martin Gould 4-0. And both matches have gone to their mid-session interval at the same time, so there's a few people moving around the temperature.
Yeah, it's a very busy arena. As I say, it's a unique arena the way it's laid out.
48.
A bit like sometimes in golf tournaments you hear big cheers coming from some green or fairway. You're not quite sure what's happened. Well, Woollaston is still going, but thanks to that fluke,
56.
that is such a key moment, you feel, this evening. For all the skillful snooker we've seen, and we've seen plenty, that
57.
little bit of luck feels really significant.
It does, and I tell you, it feels very significant when you're sitting in your chair and it happens against you. You kind of top them up in your mind, you can't help it. And it's made all the difference in this frame, because it doesn't take a mathematician to work out. It could make a difference for 2 frames from what could have been 4-2
62.
to Judd Trump.
It's the fact that he opens all the reds up, so they're all there for Trump, who now needs snookers.
63.
Yes, and we mentioned earlier that, you know, he's had a couple of reversals recently. That Masters defeat from 5-2 up against Karen Wilson must have hurt, and then losing in the qualifiers for China Open, which is a very big event now, prize money-wise.
70.
And all that's happened in the last 10 days or so.
71.
And he's meeting Woollaston, who is at the top of his game for this match.
$77.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's not just the fluke. It's the fact that other than that, Woollaston's played superbly.
79. $82.
So he has his chance here with the 4 colours left to make his 2nd century of the night.
86.
Could have been so different, though, had he not fluked that red. This is the longest frame of the match, and it's only been going 12.5 minutes.
91.
Shows you what sort of match it's been.
It's just another big break in a match that's been full of them. And seeing what a
97.
very talented player Ben Woollaston is.
Big break, but also, it's got to be said, a big piece of good luck in the middle of it. But an excellent clearance nonetheless of 104. That's the 3rd century of the evening. It's Woollaston's 2nd. They cannot be split. What a match here. What a thriller on the first night of the German Masters. All square at 3-3. This match, what an incredible standard we've seen. 3 centuries now. 3-3 in terms of the scoreline. Possible 3 frames still to be played. We've only been going an hour and 6 minutes.
Could have had one in each frame, actually. Even the frames without a century had high breaks, 94 from Trump and 2 other big ones. Could have had a 6 in 6, which has been done once, actually. Anthony Hamilton against Karen Wilson. They broke the record 6 consecutive centuries, but this has been extremely good so far.
Judd Trump the break.
Well, Judd Trump was ready to pounce, but for that fluke from Woollaston in the last frame. This is frame 7 of a possible 9. There's never been more than 1 between them.
The other thing, Dave, which wouldn't surprise me, now that this match is going to be a little more tense from now on in, it could be that the standard now drops a touch, because both players will be sensing that the winning line is within their grasp. And that brings about a different pressure sometimes, but up until now, the pair of them barely missing anything.
No, and that's reflected there in the pot success. Trump 95%, Woollaston 98%. Trump ahead on the safety success, but again, high from both. Once again, he's left a long red on. But this time, Trump has not knocked it in. 2 frames ago he did, and he made 94 from it.
I think in his mind he was hoping that the keeper would head back to bulk. And that's a nice little flick there as well, because Judd was eyeing up that red to the right and the pink landed in front of it. And he knows he's had a bit of good fortune again. Might be thinking it could be that maybe tonight's the night he breaks the hoodoo against somebody he's grown up with, Judd Trump. Not beat him as a pro, not in sort of ranking events and big tournaments anyhow. 6 nearly trailed going into tonight. that's a tremendous pot, and he deserves to be lucky. And that is not, well, he's not bad. As a left-hander, he could conceivably reach this, actually, without the rest or spider or anything. That's just a little bit of, not so much good fortune, but fortune favouring the brave, because the pot was very decent. He didn't know much about the cue ball, where it would finish.
8.
Somehow he got on the black.
9.
And the balls really are well spread here. Once again, they run very nice, very kindly to both players.
$16.
Judd
17.
made the first maximum break at the Temperdrome 3 years ago. We've only had 2, Tom Ford last year. Of course, Gary Wilson was closing in earlier, missed the last red in the match with Martin Gould.
Now, right now, I think he would be delighted with a break of a
24.
73, 75, which would win in the frame, and he wouldn't be thinking too much about staying on the blacks right now. This match has got to be won. And of course,
25.
if he could get over the line and he stays on the black, then maybe he will consider it.
The most recent 147 on the circuit was just last week at the Championship League, Martin Gould, but there's no audience there.
32.
And it was just him, his opponent and the referee, so there wasn't exactly an ecstatic ovation for him. It'd be a bit different if we were to see one here, of course, at the Temperdrome.
$33.
Not going to see one in this frame, though.
No, in a way that might just be something that is good for him, just to concentrate his mind on winning the frame, because it can be a distraction. The further you go down that line, the more you almost feel you have to stick with it.
38. $39. $46.
Well, again, he can't avoid the cannon on the red above the one he's potting. That's not bad at all.
47.
He's got a difficult shot, though, to get away from hitting anything on the way down into bulk here. There's so many balls in the way. Just missed the yellow. Good shot.
$52. $53.
There was an error. That is him going into the red. Clearly was looking to go beyond it and
60.
landing behind it. He is good at recovering breaks positionally, but he's going to do that here. Very well done.
61. $68. $69.
Judd Trump at 16 seconds a shot, and already at snooker's required. But this pink to make absolutely sure they're the average shot times. It's just been, like I say, it's been like an exhibition, this. Just real high-quality, heavy-scoring snooker. In that previous frame of the century. Left the long red on here. Left 2 on, actually. First time Trump missed, second time he knocked it in.
76.
Played that shot into the reds, got on the black. And he's going to be 4-3 in front.
$81. $82. $87. Thanks. $88.
Now this crowd really being treated to some sublime snooker
95.
here from both players.
96.
This is going to be the 4th century of the match coming up.
Yes, it's marvellous stuff. It's a thoroughly enjoyable match to watch. It's a match where safety has played a very small part and the scoring has been very weighty.
103.
Highest breaks so far, 1-3-1 Ding Junhui earlier today. And it's still the highest because the red has stayed out. But again, a very swift break and an evening of swift breaks. That's the 4th century. Trump second, 103. And once again, in no time at all, he's hit the front. He's 1 from victory, leading now 4-3. Watching 4 centuries, 2 from Trump, 2 from Woollaston. Trump's 4-3 up. Plenty of other interesting matches going on. Mark Williams was 2-0 down to Fergal O'Brien. It's 2-2 now. They've come back out. Matt Seltz 4-2 up on Mark Allen. That's live on the Eurosport player. Mark Allen, the Masters champion, just recently in trouble, as is Martin Gould, who won the title here 2 years ago. He's 4-0 down to Gary Wilson, who missed the last red when he was on a 147 in an earlier frame. So plenty for this crowd to watch tonight. The other matches, Ricky Walden 3, Jack Lazowski 3. Ben Woollaston breaking off in frame 8, looking to level up and force a decider. And what's been a match of big breaks this evening.
Yes, 4 centuries in a best of 9 and 2 from each player. That really is going some. Not sure entirely what the record is for centuries in a best of 9. I'm sure it's more than 4 because I think one player might have actually had 4 on his own, but we could conceivably see a 5th or even a 6th, I suppose. If it's not a record, it would be near to being one. Both players are scoring so heavily that you wouldn't put it beyond either of them to continue this at this rate.
No, I mean, there hasn't been one scrappy frame. They've all been breaks, even the frames of United Centuries, that, as you said, they could have been.
Now, once again, you feel that with the reds are placed now, whoever pots the first red, if they got onto a colour, there would be a chance for another big break. The black is available to the left corner. And it could be that in potting this long red, if he does pot it, finishes where he's put his cue now, Ben could be away here. But the opening red is the tough one. It's a real cueing shot. He's been on the receiving end in the last frame. So this will test even him right now. Well, he didn't mean to kiss the red. He has got a shot at the black, but a delicate little one if he can hold for the next red.
There's pressure on this one, where the reds are, and it's not there.
Ben Woollaston. 1.
Yes, it was just an awkward shot, as we were saying at the time. And he looks up and thinks, well, maybe that is his last shot. It's a bit early to be saying that, but it will be, judging by what we've seen so far.
1.
Yeah, it was a horrible little shot anyway, but at 4-3 down, and the sort of snooker we've seen tonight, there's a lot of pressure on that black. This is the thing with snooker, you know, Woollaston's played about as well as he can tonight. He's played brilliantly tonight, but it's out of his hands right now in terms of whether he's going to still be in the tournament in 15 minutes or so time.
Eight. Nine.
We see matches sometimes where neither player can pot a ball, but someone still has to win. This has been the opposite. They barely missed one between the two of them, really. But someone's got to lose, and Woollaston fearing it might be him.
14. And
from Trump's point of view, as we see this, that was the initial red, just caught the other red, Woollaston. That's why he was left with that black. From Trump's point of view, although Woollaston's played superbly, he's played his sort of game. He's played an open game. He's not tried to time up, mess him about. They've both gone for it, and Trump needs to go for it one last time here, and he should be the winner.
Yes, and of course, his name would look very nice on the trophy. And it would be in keeping with some of the previous winners. And it would also make up for those couple of disappointments already in 2018 that he's had early January. And I think in general,
30.
he's the sort of player you can't keep down for very long. Had a lot of success
31.
as well in Europe because he won European Masters last season in Belgium. And he's very popular wherever he plays in the world. He's another player that's very well respected in Chinese events because they love watching
38.
Ding Junhui, they like watching Ronnie O'Sullivan, but I think Judd Trump is right up there, Chinese snooker fan.
39. $46. $47.
Well, just a slight glimmer of hope for Ben Woollaston. If Judd is straight on this red, it won't be that easy to get position.
54.
Managed to manufacture an angle of
55.
some kind. So he's on the brink now, and it would be quite an achievement if he could close out the match here.
62. 63.
So this is match ball. What a standard the two of them have produced. Ben Woollaston will look back at this match and the way he's played and will think,
70.
how have I lost? He's produced such a high standard. In this frame, he missed that
71.
tricky black. Little cutback. And Trump, once again, as Parriston Judd Trump, looking to make his third century. It would be the 5th of the evening. Some standard in just 8 frames of snooker. Average shot time just under 11 minutes. This was the black. As I say, a lot of pressure on that at this stage.
77. 78.
There's the average shot times, 16 seconds for Trump. Oh, he's missed the black.
78.
That might have been a
Match.
kick, actually. So the match ends with that 78 break from Judd Trump. It's been fast, it's been furious. They've both played their part in a cracking contest here that's delighted this Tempodrome audience. And it's Judd Trump who marches into the last 16. There were 4 centuries in the match, 2 on either sides. They both played superbly, but there can only be one winner, and it's Judd Trump beating Ben Woollaston here in Berlin by 5 frames to 3.